A young Padawan struggles with the choice to save a village or save a bride.
Hey there, Nomads of Lore. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Sean.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home.
No home at all.
Yep, that's right. Today, well, you threw me off. That's my
Welcome
line.
to the club.
So today we're going to be going over Visions episode 4, The Village Bride. And we're going to talk about our thoughts on that.
Corpse Bride.
Not the Corpse Bride.
Totally
Yep.
different.
We're going to talk about our thoughts on the art and then some of the things we like, some of the things we didn't like, critiques, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's get started. Art style.
We've done these spoiler free, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And we've kind of zipped through all of them, so you can check that one out. It's a long
Oh,
video.
yeah,
but you can find
as
the
a
ones
separate
that
video.
you want. Yeah.
This video will be spoiler filled.
So art style, the art style on this one was fairly straightforward. It didn't blow me away. There were some odd I don't know if this is art style or character design. There was some odd design. It fit, like her having her mask was real odd and kind of strange. The little Padawan girl. But it makes sense narratively, she's got it and she's hiding behind, and then she reveals so that makes sense. So it's fine. I did like some of the early stuff with the planet with the brother and sister that go and they're, who knows, force being or some other new magic system to the Star Wars universe. This giant rock, there were some cool things as far as art there, but other than that, it was fine. It was
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. For the characters, from a character standpoint, it's pretty, average or maybe a little above, little whatever, somewhere in the middle. But the landscape and the coloring, I really liked a lot. There was a lot of really cool, really good shading as far as being in sunsets, sunrises, nighttime, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really good, vibrant, super bright colors that really made me think of, sunset in West Texas kind of thing or whatever. Yeah. So
except with trees.
Yeah. Except
and
with
water.
Yeah. And planets falling apart and weirdness. So yeah. Next, what were your favorite moments?
Things. The best things about in our spoiler free kind of rundown of this one. We talked about this one not really Star Warsing very well, and mainly because the most interesting things about this is Star Wars, right? But the most interesting things about this episode really had nothing to do with the Jedi, and so these scenes and kind of seeing this little tiny sliver of this planet's culture was very interesting. This was a very different, a very unique in the Star Wars universe. I know these are not canon necessarily, but this kind of interesting culture happening here, and this brother and sister and whatever, it was very environmental, tree hugger or themes in this episode. But there, what exactly was going on with this ritual at the beginning, and then kind of blessing the planet or having the planet having memory or whatever.
Yeah.
That whole scene was very interesting. I would have liked to have seen more in that space. But that was pretty cool. This the episode that had the waterfall. No, that's a different episode. Never mind. I think where they discover the waterfall at the end. And the guy ends up killing the other guy through the water.
No, that's the very first episode.
That's the first episode?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, it is. You're right. Yeah, it is. That's a cool scene in the first episode.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
It is a good scene. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I enjoyed for sure that same thing. I think that's it's greatest thing that I liked and its weakness in the same breath, that I really enjoyed kind of the overview of those different ideas and what's going on with the planet and their culture and their what all's going on with them as a species or whatever you want to call. But it was kind of a detriment to the fact that it pulled so much away from it being Star Wars in in my personal opinion, I felt like I wanted to know more about that and didn't really care about the Padawan and the master.
Right.
So that's where I
and
felt.
the one thing that is interesting, is we're saying it's not Star Wars and what one thing that is fun in Star Wars sometimes is the non-Jedi character, right? And so that's
very true.
definitely. But the one thing that is interesting, it wasn't developed enough in this little 20 some odd minute short or whatever it is. That would have been interesting, and if we spent more time there, and this is kind of leads into the more critique level, because it reminds me of like the Bendu character in Star Wars Rebels and whatever, where we and even in some of the expanded universe, like the George Caboth character and Timothy Zahn's stuff, where we start to see the Force being used in different ways. I mean, because we've got to assume, since this is Star Wars, either Star Wars or Star Wars, that whatever's going on with this planetary memory stuff and all the blessing of the planet, whatever, we've got to assume that that's something to do with the Force. I mean, we just kind of almost has to be. It's not very well explained, but I do enjoy that in Star Wars stuff where we start to kind of see the Force, seeing it through different lenses in different ways. So if we had spent enough time being able to kind of looking at some of those ideas, I think it would have greatly improved. Like we've said about pretty much everything we've said so far about these episodes, is it suffered significantly from time. I think spending more time and learning more about this culture on this planet would have been very interesting.
Yeah.
And the whole central conflict I could care less about. Like, I don't care whether the Padawan saves them or a Jackrabbit saves them. I mean,
and I guess that's really what I meant. Like, it's not that it's a downfall of it. It's that central story, the
through line story.
Doesn't matter. I would rather focus more on what we didn't get to see.
Yep.
And so,
And that's pretty much our thoughts of that one. It's fairly cut and dry. There's not a lot of deep.
What did you like about this episode? Did you think there was anything really great, or what did you think about the planet system thing exploding or
do you have any cool crazy fan fiction idea threads that I think this one in particular there's all kinds of cool jumping off points for cool stories. So what are your cool stories in the comments?
That's right. Like, comment, subscribe.
Thanks, guys.
See you later. Bye.